Palestine! Palestine! We will never be patient! We'll never be defeated! United! We'll never be defeated! We'll never be defeated! United! Palestine! Israeli apartheid has to fall!
Really do say that in the international recording classes. The floor is yours. Thank you, Alma. And we will not be long now. It is impressive that we are here at all, partly because it is, we've said, March number 41, and partly because an hour ago you thought it was raining. And it wasn't. This is, as I say, 41. It's only rained on 1.5%. I think someone up there likes us. But a round of applause for everyone who's carried a flag today in the wind, who's carried banners, and even a big thank you to our chanters who found that their megaphones are human after all. Thank you to all of you. And thank you to people who spend their time stewarding in the yellow jackets, because that does make a big difference. You get one or two people who write to us saying, do I have to register to go on the march? Well, no, but it shows how organised everybody looks, and that is a matter of our collective good sense. Now, it seemed to us in Friends of Palestine that it would just help to say a little bit about the ceasefire process, which, as so often, is turning about being all about process and not much about ceasefire. But it is right that at the beginning of July, the United Nations Security Council came out with a blueprint. It was an American blueprint. It was a blueprint that the Americans said it was an Israeli blueprint, don't forget. And Hamas signed up to it. And we're all prepared to talk about the one or two remaining little details. And there were pretty little details, only to find that this far on, nothing has happened, except more people are dead. More people are malnourished. The United Nations say that the rate of child malnutrition is 4 times higher now in Gaza than it was in May. Just think about that for one moment and see it is a cumulative thing, while all sorts of things are going on the Lebanon border, and you'll hear plenty about that. The people in Gaza are still starving, being starved. So don't forget that. So what is not happening at the moment? The original plan was to have a 6-week ceasefire, during which the Israelis would withdraw from basically contact with the Palestinian population within Gaza and eventually out of Gaza altogether. What is happening with that is the Israelis are coming back with new demands. First of all, they want to retain a military presence on the entirety of the border between Gaza and Egypt. That's the south end of the Gaza Strip. It's called the Philadelphia Corridor. I've no idea why. It's nothing to do with cheese, but it is a strip of land which is material. They want to keep control of that. That was not in the plan. Obstacle number 2, another new demand. In the course of bulldozing Gaza, and I mean bulldozing Gaza, the Israelis have made a particular wide strip, the width of a motorway, across the Gaza Strip about halfway up. It's along what's left of the Gaza River, and they call it the Netzarim Corridor. I toss the word out because you will see it in the newspapers. And that is a complete opportunity to cut Gaza in two. They want to keep control of that. That is a new obstacle. And why do they want to do that? because it will help them to keep their control on northern Gaza, where there are plans for Israeli settlements. There have been plans for Israeli settlements since January. Architects have done drawings and all the rest. So that is an Israeli plan to basically take away half of Gaza, or only to let back the people who they have probably put on oath to say that they won't do anything adverse to them again. There are also the inevitable disagreements. Again, the Israelis lead the way about how many hostages will be released, how many Israeli prisoners, there are also hostages, remember, from Palestinians, will be released, and whether they will claim the right to deport those they release from Palestine altogether, or whether they will let them back. Those are the sort of standard difficulties in negotiation, but the territory is crucial, and that is why we haven't yet got an agreement. And it is because the Israeli Prime Minister does not want peace under any circumstances, because if he concedes peace, he knows he goes shortly probably to jail. He's hugely unpopular with the rest of the governing class in Israel. And one example of how that establishment is cracking is in the head of their security service, a man called Ronan Bar, in the last week. This is not about Gaza, but talking about the West Bank. Says that the settlers who have been going around burning people out of their homes are terrorists. That's the head of the Israeli security agency, their equivalent of MI5, saying that Israelis are terrorists. They are cracking at the top, and this is why we cannot afford not to carry on, and why we are here today. And many thanks for, as I said, for coming out. One other piece of good news, you heard the thing about AXA, who it slips out that they've actually done much more to divest from Israel than they had done when we last looked. But there is also in Holland, well, I suppose it's in Wales, does the name Anwar El Ghazi mean anything to you? Any blues for Palestine here? He is a Dutch footballer. He was, as of last October, he was playing for Jurgen Klopp's old club Mainz in Germany. And he tweeted, "From the river to the sea." And Mainz sacked him. Straight away, bang, wallop, red card. And he took him to the Labour court. And he won. Better than that, he put out this wonderful statement saying, "Thank you very much to Mainz Football Club for giving me such publicity. Very glad to make use of it. Thank you very much." What he also did was to give €500,000 to relief work in Gaza, because he knows where his roots are. And the final thing, which I suppose gets him applauded by one half of you, is that during 2022, only 2 years ago, he spent 8 months playing for Everton. The other half you can applaud the fact he doesn't play for them anymore, but he now plays for Cardiff. So next time you see Cardiff City, just hope that he's playing. It is another example of somebody doing the right thing, and yeah, well, hats off to him. Finally, because we don't want to hang around in this wind, we do have, in addition to what Alma's told you about, an upcoming national demonstration here at the start of Labour Party conference. They deserve all that we can give them by way of a good, well-pitched up demonstration, because they have become, their leadership, a hardline pro-Israel party. Let us not have any doubts about that. And so, Palestine Solidarity Campaign, with their usual national partners, are scheduling a demonstration here. Mark the date, Saturday, 21st of September. We'll be back here before then, next Sunday please, and the Sunday after that, I fear, unless it's a ceasefire. But the 21st of September anyway. And I'm sure that those of us who belong to sort of national groupings, or you might say sects, may go and join those national things. But I hope we will make a nice Liverpool block on that march to show what we can do in a national setting. So we will have, as always, the banners, the drum, I hope, the cowbells, all the rest of it, and the placards. Please book the date. We want to be big on that day, and we want to be together rather than simply part of what I hope is a gigantic crowd. Let's show them that we mean it and we are a good, receptive host. So, I'll hand you back. Thank you very much.